Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. I feel like it's been a little bit of time since the last time I spoke to you, but just been really busy with everything that's been going on at the moment. So the last kind of 2 weeks I've been going through Skool. If you watched my previous video, I was talking about how we're going to be launching a Skool course for the influencer agency that I own called Unscripted, and the steps that I basically did in order to kind of get a waiting list. So I built a landing page on Lovable, got about over 100 people to join a waiting list, and now I want to just talk to you about the next steps of the journey. So this is basically my honest opinion on launching a Skool community and what I've seen so far over the last week of doing this. So, like I said before, we had around about 100 people sign up to the waiting list. So, in your head, you start thinking, okay, 100 people, if I convert 50 people, that's $59 per month, or 500 plus if you were to pay for the year. Land 50 of them, so 50% conversion rate. So obviously you've got hot leads who are then converting into actual paying customers. And to be honest, it really didn't happen like that. For me, I think my expectations were a bit too high on real results when it comes to selling something where somebody has to pay money for. And I'll talk to you about like getting people onto it, so actually paying customers when we went live, and then keeping them. Because I think there's a lot of people on the Skool communities who really try to oversell like how easy it is. This is what you can do, just follow the steps and the success that they've had, and then all of a sudden you could do the same. But the reality is it's not as easy unless you really try to kind of keep up to this. So the reason why we did the creator hub for Unscripted is we keep getting messages every day of people who want to get signed by us. People want to go, I want to be a creator, give us some help. I want a strategy. How do I get signed? I want to get paid deals. So it made sense for us to build something around this. And yet we are still getting a large amount of volume for people who are still interested in something that will help them become a better creator. But what I've realized is not everybody wants to take accountability for actually actioning that journey. Some people just expect that you are going to get signed by the agency, which is not what we've sold. We've basically said if you follow certain steps, potentially you could get signed. But I think for me, it's all about the real engagement on the Skool community, which is going to make people stay. Now, I'm just going to go through the actual page now. So you can see here, I've actually been pretty active on this. So one thing I've noticed is from another Skool community is that they put something called a challenge on there to kind of keep people talking. Because what I've noticed is if somebody joins, they don't see anything or they're not interacting with the courses that you've done or the community page or coming on the webinars, they just lose interest straight away. Now, all of our members have 7 days free trial for them to come onto the actual page, have a look around, see what's what, listen to some of the podcasts, look at the challenges. And out of I think we've got 13 members, some of them are admins. Out of the 9 people that signed up off the back of the kind of lead generation that we did originally in the kind of first initial launch, only I think 4 people has stayed off the back of the first lot. So 8 people have basically churned. So basically meaning they are leaving after the 7-day free trial. And then from the free trial, only 4 people have remained, and they've actually still got like a day or two to still change their mind because we're only like less than a week old as a Skool community. So it's made me think a couple of things kind of going into the next phase of obviously trying to get some more people. And I think the good thing about this, like, I haven't taken this as oh my God, like the Skool community is dead because we haven't maintained certain people on there. Like a 50% churn rate is mad. Like it's crazy. That's too much. But it made me realize like I really need to get the community involved as much as possible, asking questions, getting them to actually contribute to these kind of conversations. So it's not just me talking, and it's a challenge to get people talking. So what my kind of next process is to reach out to the members, because you can actually direct message the members and you can say to them like, hey, I'm thinking about doing X, do you mind just throwing some comments on here? I'd really like you to be the voice, the champion. I'll give it to you for free if you are, for like the next month or two. So there's loads of things you can kind of do from a strategy perspective to kind of make other people show up on the Skool community. Obviously, utilizing the staff that I have. I know my staff are really busy in respect of like trying to get their actual influencers brand deals, and that's what they're targeted to. So kind of throwing them off that to kind of write some comments in here every so often is a shift in their role, but it's something that I'm going to be doing as well. And they did come on to the call. We had a call the other day on a webinar where myself, two of my influencer managers came on a call, and then we had two of the members from the community actually join the call, which is really good to kind of just understand like what it is that people are looking for and understand like why people have joined. Because for me, it's the feedback to kind of go, okay, this is why people join. This is what we need to do in order to move forward. This is what we need to give them more of. And then we can obviously keep growing out the community. Because I think if I was a member of a community on Skool and I just kind of saw something which I could probably complete within a week or two, why am I going to keep staying for the months afterwards? So I'm always having to think about like what is going to be the continuous context that I'm giving these people who are joining the community. The other idea that I've had, which I had this morning, is to do like it is Black Friday in like 2 weeks time, maybe do like a Black Friday deal just to get more people on the platform, because I think that as soon as you get more people on the platform, you will then have more conversations, the more probability that people will start speaking within and asking questions. So what I'm thinking is that over the next like 2 months until we hit the end of 2025 is to try to just get more members on there. So it's not all about the money now. I think it's all about like getting more people on here as volume. So I'm going to probably do like you can buy the whole year's package for like, I don't know, $150 opposed to $59.99. It's going to be a Black Friday deal. Try to drive some more traffic to the platform, because in fairness, we are actually getting like, if I look in here, there's 440 page visits, 10 signups in total. The reason why it's not monetary yet is because some people we only launched on Thursday. So it's getting to the end of that 7-day free trial for a lot of people. So hopefully like in the next day or two, if they decide to stay, then this monthly recurring revenue piece will start going up, and it'll say paid members are X, which I'll start to show and kind of give you a bit more information about that. Which is really annoying is that there was one member who joined on a year subscription for like $500 something, which you kind of think, okay, amazing. We haven't got the numbers, but that one person could kind of like pay for ad spend if they continue. Unfortunately, they didn't like really engage with any of the content. They didn't engage in the actual community conversations. They didn't come on the webinar. So they decided to cancel their subscription. So yeah, it's a bit annoying in that sense, but this is all learning lessons, because ultimately I'm doing this to learn about how to build a community so I can then help build a communities for creators. So in my last episode, I talked about how I am helping a gym influencer. He's basically a posing expert in his field for posing for bodybuilders for competitions. So I'm going to be working with, he's called Killian, and I'm going to be working with him to create an academy around posing. And we're using Skool as the basis. So all this, what we're doing now is basically learning for that reason, because that's where I think a lot of income can come through. He's currently building the strategy around what he's going to be doing from his perspective. But this is Killian. You can see here, he's got 545,000 followers on Instagram. I think he's got about 100 and something on TikTok. And he basically does kind of like bodybuilding poses. So when you are looking to compete, you do these types of poses in order to, I assume, show your muscles off more. And what we're going to be doing is doing like the price of a 1-to-1 with him online is about €100, which is about $120. But we're looking to do like a year subscription for like $650, or you pay higher amounts like $100 or $80 per month if you go through a monthly payment plan. So our aim is to launch and try to get like 300 people on Skool community when we launch on day one. So 300, just like the Spartans, is like we're looking to target. If you actually think about his whole community over like 650,000 people, that's like 0.02%, I think it works out to be, of his whole community, which is not a big ask. And the good thing about his profile, he actually, as well as obviously having his main following, he's actually got 20,000 followers on a Instagram like subscription piece, where there's like a separate community within Instagram where he's got, and we can learn a lot of feedback from. The good thing is that he actually has some big people following him from like an influential perspective, like Coach Blue here. He's got like 9.4 million followers. So if we can get potentially somebody like that to later on to endorse the Skool community, or at least like jump on a podcast with him, that could be amazing to kind of keep the momentum. And for me, it's kind of working with Killian to understand like what's going to be that value add for the next year when he does his one-to-one sessions on a group basis. So he's not doing it one-to-one, he's doing it to 300 people. How would that differ? Like, what are we going to do that's going to be different on a group call compared to a one-to-one, because you've got 300 people asking questions? So how do we facilitate that? So yeah, that is going to be our aim, to try to get to like 300 members on Skool on there. So that's basically Skool in a nutshell and where I am with that. In other news with AudioFlow, so the AI business that I kind of set up, so I'll bring that up as well, just so people who haven't watched this before know a bit of context behind that. So AudioFlow is my other business as well, and this is where you can basically produce AI generated podcasts, and it was targeting businesses. So I literally, before recording this, just came off a client call. The good thing is on this kind of world, it's getting a lot of traction. So I'm having conversations, I'm giving people demo access to play with the system, play around with the demo. But I've always said, like, in a B2B environment, it's always going to take a little bit longer to actually land a client, because of the processes that you have to go through internally and the politics behind introducing tools to a business. And there's always going to be these challenges that I'm going to face when it comes to a B2B world, especially going for the big enterprise companies. The smaller companies are a bit more independent, maybe have small teams of like 10 to 20. Completely fine. They're probably easier for me to sell to and probably do it for a cheaper amount. But when you go to like the big enterprise companies with like 200 people plus into like the thousands, it becomes a lot harder to actually introduce software to them, even though if they want the software, it's not their decision to make, because it has to go through different teams from like data security. They might have an AI team if it's a big company, and all this kind of scrutiny that they'll do in order to make sure that no data that they're submitting into this platform is going to get leaked. Even on the call I literally just had just now, that was the last question they asked, is like, what have I got in place to make sure that any information that we put on this platform is not, one, fed to a large language model and training it, and secondly, it's not going to get leaked, because that's a massive risk for one, myself as the kind of data owner, but a risk for any business to trust a company, especially a new company, in handling its information. So that's my big challenge with AudioFlow, and that's why I've kind of shifted slightly and not focusing 100% into AudioFlow at the moment, just because I need to just generate income. And even though like the marketing agency, the influencer agency is paying wages and for enough for myself to survive, it's kind of like just making sure like I have other avenues of income coming in as well. And hence why I'm trying to do this test trial with Killian, just to see if I can actually build a viable income source from an influencer who isn't actually monetizing. So he has no brand deals, he's not got anything other than his one-to-one coaching that's actually bringing him income. And for somebody with such a big reach over the internet, who gets around about 5.7 million views per month, I'm pretty sure we should be able to target 300 people. But I could be wrong. So the aim of the game is to kind of test that, see how we get on, and then go from there. So yeah, I'll keep you up to date on kind of the Skool communities in the next phase. Hopefully, with Black Friday, I'm hoping by like the end of this month, if I can reach 50 members and actually staying on the platform, because that's the hardest thing, then I'll be really happy. But it's going to be tough. I think the reality is it's going to be tough unless I start putting a lot of paid ads into this, which can get pricey. But I think I have to kind of think like, if somebody does pay for 7 days or for a month, at $55 or $59, whichever we priced it at, month one might be a write-off, but then there's also month 2, month 3, month 4. So it's all about then how do you retain somebody. So if a cost per acquisition costs me $59, from the first kind of basis, it might not be doing great. It might kind of break even. But for me to make profit, then I need people to retain on past month 1, which is 30 days or 37 days, because we get 7 days free of them maintaining relationships with us online. So I'm scheduled like weekly one-to-one sessions on my Skool communities with people, but we'll see. I am thinking about potentially doing another Skool community around building a business with AI. So just talking about the journey I did with AudioFlow and the traction that I've actually had, but everything else that goes into it. Because I think a lot of people are selling a lot of false hope out there and saying that you can build things on AI tools like coding tools, but they're not talking about what happens after you've built it. So how do you actually build something on a Lovable, for example, or a Replit, but then how do you actually get it to market? And I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people are failing down on is like, yeah, I can build a product on whatever, podcast generation or AI, but how do I actually get customers? How do I, if it's a B2C, how do I get customers there? If it's B2B, what's the challenges? What's the things that I need to think about? What's the process? And I think if I can get people to think about like that first before they start building the product, then we can have a really successful community, which in fairness is just a community about me and my struggles and for me to learn off other people as well. So thinking about doing that, I might charge that like $99 per month to start off with, see if we get some traction. And then obviously if we do get traction, we can always raise prices. But yeah, it's I don't have a big audience like some of these YouTubers do, so it's always going to be tough to compete because people trust people they know. They trust people who they see on like YouTube talking about AI every day. So why are they going to trust me in building and paying like $99 per month unless I have like actual proof that the company that I've done, which is AudioFlow, is actually making money off the back of the success of vibe coding. So yeah, lots to think about, and I'll keep you guys up to date. But if you do like this content, want to come on this journey, want to think about how you can make some more money online, give me a like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Speak soon. Bye.